either this Fat Maru brush. Yeah, I think I'll be using that. Okay. And something I've been really trying to do a lot more lately is to just start with the outlines. I talk about that a lot because it's very easy for me to try to get sucked into the details early on, and then that just messes everything up, makes everything too busy and too hard to read. So we're not going to do that. And I started off doing a vector layer, but I don't want to do a vector layer. Hey, I have a question here from Tony Guerra. Sorry if I screwed up your name. So Tony's asking, he's looking to migrate from Photoshop to Clip Studio Paint for the comic book functionality. Any tips for making the transition? So the first thing you should do is check out on my channel. I have a video called I can't remember how many things, but maybe it's like 15 things that Manga Studio does better than Photoshop. Check it out because it kind of just lists some of the top features that you should know about right off the bat. As far as how to transition, the good news is that the interfaces and like the keyboard shortcuts and everything are extremely similar. I had no problem making that transition. And in contrast, I just recently tried the Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer software, and one of the main problems I kept having with that software is that every single keyboard shortcut, it seemed, was totally different than the Adobe suite. And I'm not just talking about B for brush. I mean, it's everything. It's Alt, Shift, Command, Control. They just all seem to do drastically different things. And I know it's not their job to copy Adobe, but you would think if you're trying to win over Adobe customers, the last thing you want to do is just completely change. Imagine renting a car and you get in and the brake pedal is the gas and the gas is the brake pedal. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. So anyway, Manga Studio was not like that. It's very similar, and of course you can change just about any shortcut you would want to change, which is also very cool. You actually have a lot more flexibility with shortcuts than you do in Photoshop. There's all kinds of things you can tweak. So one thing you are going to come up against when switching from Photoshop is that there unfortunately is no way to take all of your Photoshop brushes and just easily import them into Manga Studio. That would be amazing if you could, but you can't. So the next best thing you can do is you could go to my website and buy my brushes, first of all. There are other people out there who sell brushes too, so that might be a good place to start. Other than that, there are some videos on YouTube about how to kind of one by one recreate your brushes. So you could, that works if you have maybe like 10 or 15 of your favorite brushes that you want to bring over. So that's something. Hey, Alice Hill, thank you for the compliment. So I see I'm getting some comments on Facebook Live as well, and I apologize if it seems like I'm ignoring you. It's just I'm trying to figure out a way to see both YouTube comments and Facebook comments at the same time, and draw at the same time. So I am getting used to that. someone is asking me what program I'm using, I'm almost always using Clip Studio Paint, or also known as Manga Studio. Um, I often use Photoshop as like the final step to kind of adjust colors, or sometimes I color a piece totally in Photoshop. But usually, if I'm inking or drawing, it's in Manga Studio. Hey, Tom Martin, what's up, buddy? Tom's asking me what I'm using to stream to Facebook Live. I think I'm going to write up an article about this because it's not easy, but I finally found a way to stream to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, and a couple other things all at the same time. And the trick is, it's not easy to explain, and it's also not free. I'm paying for something to do that. It's like $10 a month, so that might turn some people off. But and even actually, once you pay, that's still not the end of the story. It took a while to set up. It was not fun. So I'll try to write that all up for you, buddy, and I'll send you a link when I get that up, because some other people have been asking me that too. Hey, I see Sean Hill. I'm a big fan of your work, man. I think you know that, but just thought I ought to tell you that. Great stuff. Hey, and Chris Weatherly, thanks for joining. Yeah, I got you on my schedule, and I'm real excited to start that. Sorry for the delay. We were just coming off a huge project, so we got sort of set way back on a lot of things, but looking forward to it. So you'll notice right now I'm just drawing like straight up symmetrically on both sides for this skull, but after I do that, I'm gonna turn the symmetry ruler off and go back in and like kind of mess up each side randomly, um, because it looks cheap. I think nothing in nature is 100% symmetrical, especially a skull that's been submerged underwater. So I'm gonna go back in there and make some teeth turn another way, and shadows and whatever. But I find that if you do it this way first, it kind of just, you can use it as a guide, and of course it saves a lot of time. I'm curious if anybody watching has a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. So I'm thinking about getting one of those fairly soon. I'm gonna wait till Thanksgiving, I think. Oh my god, look at this thing. I got this alert box here that's supposedly showing when people subscribe and that kind of thing. I didn't know that was gonna happen. Anyway, if anybody has it and has any positive or negative things to say about it, please post that or send me a message. I would love to know about it. I just keep hearing nothing but good things. And I used to have, long ago, the Wacom Companion 1. This was a pretty old product now. And it was great, but it left definitely a lot to be desired. And it seems like, from what I'm reading, the newer versions fix all the things that I didn't like about it. So I'm excited. Hey, so whoop-de freaking do. I appreciate that. If you say you love it, but you have some issues, um, I'd be curious to hear what those issues are. I'm guessing that a lot of them are probably like Windows issues, and that was my main hesitation with the Wacom tablets. Not that I'm not a Mac fanboy or in love with Mac or anything like that. It's just that since that's what I use every single day, um, it's just hard to switch. So Tony Guerra is asking, the brush I'm using now, is that a default brush or available on your site? So this brush I'm using is called the Fat Maru brush, and it's a brush that I made, so it's available in my first pack of brushes. I made it using one of the default brushes from Manga Studio 4, which preceded this program, and in my opinion, the inking tools in that program actually were better, but it's such an old program that some of the interface things were just almost too clunky to use. So I never use it anymore. So I've tried to go back and see if it's any better, and I just can't. It's like watching an old movie that you loved when you were a kid, and then you watch it again and it doesn't hold up. But what I love about this brush is that, here, I'll show you. It can get, right now I'm drawing at like 125 pixels. You can just get just crazy variations and character to the line just by like barely varying the pressure. So I don't know. It's cool. It's cool for work like this too that is meant to look a bit like messier. Hey Tammy, thanks for joining. Um, and I'm trying to flip back and forth between Facebook and YouTube so I can see your comments. Jimmy is asking, what is your favorite drawing you have made so far? So, that's a good question, man. I would say the most recent favorite drawing I've done was for Rick and Morty. Um, if you follow me, you've probably seen it because I never stopped talking about it. It was for a contest for Rick and Morty, and I almost never participate in contests just for the principle of it. I don't exactly think it's really fair, and probably not really good for the industry. But I saw this contest and I love Rick and Morty, so I threw all my principles out the window and joined it anyway. And I was one of the winners, which is cool. And well, it's very cool. So the shirt is being sold like all over the world in Hot Topic. We just saw it in our local mall the other day, so that's a very cool feeling. They even just put out blankets of it. Let me show you, actually. So, I don't know how well we can see this here. Oh wow, my camera's on a huge delay. That's funny. Well, basically, this is also, they also printed on a blanket, which, to be honest, I'm actually a little irritated about because the contest clearly said it was for a t-shirt, and it seems to be selling really well because now they're selling it on other things as well. So I have some time set aside to try to figure that one out. Anyway, I think that's my favorite of this year because I love the show. It seems to be really well received. I love it. It was something where I just decided that I didn't want to hold back on it at all. Like I didn't actually think I had any chance of winning because my style is so bizarre. So I thought I'm just gonna have fun with this. I'm not gonna try to make it something that I think they would like. I'm just gonna do the thing that I would like the most, and that's what I did. And luckily it was picked. Um, did I get a lot of money for it? Nope. Did I get a lot of exposure for it? Oh, I'm rolling in exposure, so that's nice. Um, but in all seriousness, they did. One of the prizes was they sent me like a signed comic book by the creator of the show, so I think that's pretty cool. Um, and there was some money, but it was peanuts really for what they're making on it. And I got a call from one company, the same company who made the T-shirt. I'm sorry, I think I just realized I already talked about this, but I got a call from the company that made the T-shirt, and they really wanted to hire me to do another T-shirt because they said it was one of their best sellers. And I was so excited and flattered, and it was just, ran up the stairs and told my wife. But then when I get to talking to these guys, they wanted to basically just pay $250 for another shirt, for a shirt that would be sold all over the world. And I tried everything I could to negotiate everything, and we couldn't make it happen. So it's not happening. So it sucks. And the difference is, so the first one was a contest, which I did for free, really. I mean, I didn't do it. I did get money, as I said, but I didn't think I was going to win. So it was for free initially. But the difference with the contest is I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. So it didn't feel like work, right? The difference with the second project is if they hire me, then there's going to be rounds of corrections. It's going to have to go through committees and all this stuff. And for $250, that's criminal, to be honest. It's just shitty. I haven't done anything for that low in a long time. I mean, probably since I was in college, actually, to be honest. So, anyway, does that answer your question? So Jimmy asks, you haven't seen the shirt in Denmark, where can you order it? If you just go to Hot Topic's website, it's right in there. And you'll see, one thing that was nice is Hot Topic does say right on the page that, Brian Allen is the artist, which is cool. I mean, it sounds like no duh, of course they should do that, but a lot of companies don't. They want to keep you in a dark room and not tell anybody who you are, but this company did, so that's cool. So kudos to them. Yeah, right, they should have given me a signed Fleeb. Nice. Yeah, so Tom Martin makes a comment here about my keys being super clicky. I apologize about that. What you're hearing, like when I go like this, I have this new Nostromo. Here, I'll show you. This Nostromo gamepad. This thing is so badass. I had another one for about 7 years and it finally died. So I had to buy a new one. The new one was super expensive. This one was like $120 for this little keypad. And I definitely cringed a little bit, but it is so worth it. It's just, I have all of my keyboard shortcuts programmed to this little pad, and at the end of the day, I have no strain on my hands at all, which was way different when I was working with a keyboard. And it's just so quick and easy. It has this little thumb joystick that you can program to switch between all of your tools, which is so cool. But anyway, it does create a really loud, annoying clicking sound, so sorry about that. So Michael T. Gardner is asking me how to toggle your symmetry on and off. So I have a keyboard shortcut programmed on my Wacom tablet to just turn that on and off, but I believe it is view. It might take me a second to find it because I'm not normally messing with these windows. Here it is. View, snap to special ruler. Okay, so a symmetry ruler is a special ruler. So if you turn that on and off, you can do that. And the command, I think, or the shortcut is Command 4. So I just set that to a button. And that's what's really sweet about these symmetry brushes is it's so easy to turn them on and off. You don't have to remake them every time. And you can have tons of symmetry rulers, and it follows the layer, so it attaches right to the layer that you're working on. And so you can make one, and even if you want to save it but not delete it, you can just copy it to another layer and hide that layer at the bottom of your stack. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to do this fish skeleton because you guys don't want to sit here and watch me paint a bobber or a floater or whatever these are. I do not fish. Yeah, see, it's cool reading your guys' comments. I have a bunch of people saying that they own that shirt. And I mean, that is an awesome feeling, right? I do wish that I had a happier story about it. But, okay, that's something that I've been learning a lot, actually. I've been doing this almost 6 years now as a full-time freelance artist. And I guess I used to have this image in my mind that, like, if you were working with big companies and big brands, that meant that they were paying, I don't know, $3,000 for that design, $4,000, I don't know, or maybe royalties, right? What I've learned is that actually, in a lot of cases, the bigger the company, the less they pay, simply because they have their pick of the litter, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to design an official Rick and Morty design? So, I mean, you can look at this by just going to, and I don't remember the name of it, but there's a website where everything is a contest, and they have huge bands like Metallica or Guns N' Roses or whatever, and they are offering contests to design their next shirt, and the grand prize is $500. Which is ridiculous. I mean, I've gotten like $1,500 from just a garage, like a local garage band, like somebody who's got 100 likes on their Facebook page, and here Metallica is paying $500. And I know a lot of artists who do work for big bands like that, and typically the arrangement is you get paid. Sometimes like $300 up front to do the design, and then if they like it, if they pick it, you get like another $300. So it's the t-shirt world is a sad, depressing world, and I moved away from it for that reason. They seem to keep finding me, but I try not to spend a lot of time marketing to that area because and one reason that the fees are so low is just because the profit margins can be really low. Sometimes you can design a shirt and then only sell 100 shirts. So if you're charging $1,000 for a design, it can be real tricky to make that money back. So I totally get it. But I've done work for people who are planning on selling, like an event, for example, that sells like 20,000 shirts. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of shirts. But they've wanted to pay $500, and you do that math per shirt, and you're like, well, holy shit, man, somebody's making money, and it's not me. But I haven't designed for that price range in a long time. Anyway, uh, yeah, and whoop de freaking do. I love saying your name, so I'm gonna answer every question you have. He makes a comment that the world of consumer art is a virus. Clients are very ignorant to everything. Um, so there's a little bit of truth to that, because some of the like highest selling shirts out there right now, are bootleg shirts. They're designs that are made without the brand's or the creator's approval, and people are buying these left and right, kind of not even like questioning where they come from, right? So it's not, you don't get a lot of consumers buying the design because they know the artist and they love the artist and they're a fan of them. It's just, oh, I know that show and I love it, and that shirt makes me laugh, and wouldn't my boyfriend like this? So it's tricky. I don't know how you win. I don't think you do, to be honest. So what I've found is that you can get a lot more for a t-shirt from a client if they're not actually looking to make a profit from the t-shirt. So what I mean is, if I'm designing a shirt for a business and they're using the shirt to like promote their own brand, right? Then they don't really care how much they make from the shirt, because to them it's seen just like it's a business card. You don't normally print business cards hoping to make a profit from them. You're hoping to win someone's business. So in those cases, those are the kind of clients I try to look for. So I'm not looking to get a shirt printed in Walmart, because I know for a fact that they often only pay $400 to $500 a design. So instead, I'm looking for clients who already have an established business, but they don't have a t-shirt design, or they think they need one. For example, there was a popular computer game that hired me to do a t-shirt, and it was just for a trade show. So I don't think they were planning on selling lots and lots, but they just knew that they needed it to be a really, really neat and cool design. So I was able to charge them a lot more than I would for somebody who's trying to do it for profit, if that makes sense. Yeah, whoop-de-freaking do. If you want to send me the messages on what you think of the Wacom mobile studio, you can message me on YouTube, or you can email me, or Facebook, whatever you like. Yeah, so Bro Ather Designs asked a really good question. He says, well, what about percentages of the t-shirt profit? What do you think about that? So I think it's a great idea in theory. And actually, that's exactly the deal I tried to work out with the Rick and Morty people. They told me that the design had sold like over 6,000 shirts, which they said was really good for them. And they told me that like I should be excited about it, but to be honest, it kind of was heartbreaking, because I knew what they had paid me, and it wasn't 6,000 shirts worth, right? But I said that. I said, well, okay, all right. Well, how about we do, that silly fee that you're talking about plus a royalty percentage? The problem is the royalties that they are talking about are so small that even if in the rare case that you sell 3,000 shirts, which is pretty rare, I still wouldn't even have been making what my normal fee is, my normal upfront fee. So if you are ever considering taking royalties, you need to make sure that the possibility, like your best case scenario, is a lot more than your normal fee. So just to make things simple, if you charge $1,000 for a design, you really need to make sure that if you're going to be paid in royalties, that let's say it needs to be possible for you to make $3,000 for that design. It has to be, the opportunity has to be 3 times better, because guess what? Most likely you are not going to be paid anything. If you're doing a royalty deal, you are now taking the risk that this guy, this client you don't even know, is going to take time out of his schedule to sit down and send you money. It's a lot easier to get money from clients when they need something from you. Trust me on this. Because we do a lot of licensing, and it can sometimes be tricky collecting those types of royalties. So, and I used to get a lot of these requests, I guess you would say, from clients. They would say, I can't pay you, but how about we give you like 50 cents or a shirt, or even lower sometimes. And I just never took them up on anything, because I just know that it so rarely works out. And I was just talking to a really famous artist, and I probably shouldn't use his name, but if I told you his name, you would know it. And I asked him that same question. I asked him, so how does it work? Because I've seen that you've done T-shirts for these enormous bands. Are you getting royalties here, or are you just getting a huge fee up front? And he told me that in his whole career, he's always pitching royalties, but he never once got someone to agree to it. And as far as the fees, he told me that basically T-shirts are just, it's hard to find the right word, but they are not a money product, okay? So mainly he does the T-shirts just so he can then have that artwork and sell the prints for it. So that's actually, let me just say that real quick, that's a really important thing. You guys who are doing artwork for clients, for T-shirt clients, right? Make sure in your contract that you only give them the rights to use it for T-shirts. You want to make sure that you can use that artwork for other things as well. And so in a lot of cases, that can sometimes make it worth it. So if you have to take a job for, let's say, like only $500 or something for a T-shirt design, well, maybe there's a good chance that later down the road you can use part of that in a logo, which logos you can usually charge a lot more for. And a lot of clients are going to push back on that, but most of them don't, and I think it's just because most of them don't take the time to read contracts, which is good for you. All right, let's see. Sorry, guys, if I missed anyone's question, I'm getting a lot of questions, which I really appreciate. If I missed anything, please feel free to ask again, and maybe just do it in all caps or something. So I saw that Clip Studio Paint just recently had some kind of change in their company. I don't know a whole lot about it, but Smith Micro used to they used to do all the marketing for the I guess for the US for this program, and I was in touch with a lot of the people that work there because they helped share some of my stuff previously, and they're really cool people. But now, I guess Celsius, or I'm not sure the name of the company, the original creators are taking all that back over. So I hope that's a good thing, but to be honest, I'm not sure, because it's a Japanese company, and if you go to their social media right now, everything is in Japanese. And of course, I don't have problem with that, but I'm just worried that if their focus like goes back to the manga side of things, um, that could be bad. Because I really do think that they have a chance here to be a real contender against Photoshop and to kind of, push Photoshop in the right direction too. Alright, so now I'm just noodling this thing to death, but let's go back to drawing some bones. Yeah, whoop-de-freaking-do. If you could just send me those messages on YouTube or Facebook, that'd be great. And guys, I've said this before, I apologize for the terrible music in the background. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I have to use license-free music because Facebook, like one time I was playing Iron Maiden in the background and their creepy computers hear that in the background and then they kick the video off for copyright infringement. It really sucks. Which is pretty amazing to me that they can do that, and pretty scary, actually. Okay, let me see here. 1 second. I'm just pulling up some reference for this fish skeleton. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I want to show you guys something. Hold on. I try not to plug a lot of things, but I wanted to show you this. This was my first silkscreen print that I've ever had made, and these were characters that I drew last Halloween. I had a company do this from California, and it turned out so awesome. This is like thick black paper with just one color white, and there's a halftone in here too, but everything turned out like perfectly sharp and so cool. I wish I remember the name of the company. It's on my website, but they did a fantastic job. I can't recommend them highly enough. If anybody would like to purchase one of these, I would be very grateful because I had a bunch made, probably too many. I had 50 made. They're signed and numbered, and we moved quite a few of them, but I have a few left, and I'd like to get them out the door. So if you know anyone who would be interested, please send them to my website. They're up there in my shop. So I'm getting requests for me to sing, and that would probably be my last show. Good thing is Facebook would have no idea what I'm singing because it wouldn't sound anything like it. Something new that I've been doing lately is you'll see my cursor is the circle with the dot in the middle. I used to be using the pen cursor that comes with the program. I like having the circle because it kind of is a visual reminder of how big my brush is, which sort of helps me control how hard I need to press. Oh, check this out. Someone showed me this. I didn't even realize you could do this, but let me find the... I always screw this up. There's a command here. There we go. If you hit, I think it's command and option or alt at the same time, you can drag the brush bigger and smaller, just like you can in Photoshop. And I've been doing that a lot lately instead of doing the bracket keys up and down, and it's pretty helpful. Hey, Michael, what's up, man? How are you? I meant to ask you. I hope you did not get negatively affected by all the hurricanes. Um, I know you live near Orlando, but I wasn't sure exactly where. So I hope you guys are good. I was talking a second ago about the importance of trying to retain the rights to your work when you do T-shirts, and really you want to do that for any artwork you do. And I believe I talked about this last time, or last week. I recently was lucky enough to do this big project for Chick-fil-A, which was a really big deal for us. And my first quote to them was talking, or it, man, how to say this. I wrote it in a way that let us retain the rights to the artwork, and the only thing they were paying for was exactly what they needed it for. Okay. Then they came back after we had started and wanted me to sign another contract that was very different from that. So they obviously had not read what I'd sent. Anyway, I put up a fight about it, and they went with my contract, which was great. And at the end of it, the client, they liked the artwork so much that they wanted to use it on all these other things. They wanted to use it on T-shirts and posters at the event. So because of that, because I had kind of stuck up for that part of it, we negotiated like an additional $3,000 for them to do all this extra stuff, that's the most I'd ever gotten for extra licensing. Big deal. And I mean that right there, that's why I'm buying a Wacom Mini Studio Pro. Pays for it. So I thought I would share that because you are anything like me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and didn't even think about rights. Just gave clients all the rights to work as soon as they paid you. You really want to take another look at that because that's really not the way it's supposed to work. And there's a huge benefit if you fight for it. And it is a fight. It's not easy. Definitely lost clients over it, or potential clients. I mean, but I can't recommend it enough. And once you start talking to people who have been doing it a long time, that's just how it's done. So if you figured it out, go tell somebody else. Help them figure it out. That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting some feedback that the audio isn't great. Bear with me 1 second. I have this happen sometimes. Hey, can you guys hear me better now? Better, worse? Okay, cool. So everybody can hear me good. You know what sucks? I got this microphone here, and two turntables, and it works great for like 20 minutes, half an hour. Actually, I guess we've been posting. Shit, I've been broadcasting almost an hour. That's crazy. Um, it works great for a while, and then all of a sudden it just craps out, and I have to unplug it and plug it back in. So, guess I need a new mic. Kind of sucks because this wasn't cheap. But thanks for letting me know. Alright, so I should probably wrap this up pretty soon. Let me just finish the fish. If anybody has any questions that I missed. So Matthew Smith is asking, is it a plugin you use in Clip to change the point of it? Are you talking about the changing the cursor? I'm going to assume you mean changing the cursor. So that's easy. You just go to Preferences. And under Cursor, you can change it to a million different things. And I'm just using the brush size in the single pixel dot. And to answer Timo's question, what kind of nibs do you use? I just use the ones that came with the Cintiq. I've had this thing for 6 years, and I'm still using the same nibs that came with it. It seems like I have to replace it once a year, and that's it. It's just a plastic nib. I've tried the other ones. Like, it comes with a foam one, and there's like a bendy one, and none of them really worked for me. So there you go. And yeah, so there's a good question here from Whoop De Freakin' Do. Do you write your own contracts? I did write all the contracts starting with templates that I got from the Association of Illustrators. And if you're not a member of, I mean, most people aren't a member, I'm not anymore, but you can find really good freelancer contracts just about anywhere. I know Freelancers Union has some good templates. Who else? I'm trying to think of some free ones. Just ask Google. Google usually knows. But it's very important. What I would recommend, though, like what I found was I took their templates and then rewrote it and like laid it out in a way that didn't look like a legal contract. You know, like you don't want it to look like they're about to sign a mortgage. You know, so I have one page that kind of breaks down the process of working with me, and then the next page talks about payment, and then the last page is sort of the fine print stuff, which most people don't read, and that's fine. But one of the two most important parts that you want in your contract, written in a really visible way, are how many revisions you do, and how many, or what